Hello everyone. Today our topic is poetry. In Unit 2, we are going to see poetry. We are having here three poems of three great poets. First one is Sri Aurobindo's The Tiger and the Deer. Second poem is Gabriel Ocara's Once Upon a Time. Third one is Robert Frost's Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. We all know that these three are very major poets and they write upon the things that are surrounding by us that happens in our daily life. We all know these things. But let us analyze the poems of these greatest people in a very deep manner. Sri Aurobindo. This is Aurobindo. We all know Aurobindo as a saint. Was born on 15th August 1872. Birthplaces Calcutta, West Bengal, India. Okay, and died in 5th December 1950. And where he was buried, where he was died, was Puducherry, India. His father's name, Dr. K.D. Ghosh. Mother's name, Swarnalata Devi. And his mom's name, Mrinalini Devi. He has established Sri Aurobindo Ashram in Puducherry. His philosophy is of integral yoga, involution, evolution, integral psychology, intermediate zone, supermind. And he is a yogi. Okay, so major of his participation was only in uh, eternal, internal and external yoga, psychological. All those are his major participation. Okay, literary works. His literary works, The Life Divine, The Synthesis of Yoga, Savitri. Savitri is his best, one of the best literary work. And his other works, The Divine Life, his major works includes essays on the Gita. Okay? He has written essays on Gitanjali, collected poems and plays, the synthesis of yoga, the human cycle, the ideal of human unity, Savitri, a legend and a symbol, on the Veda. These are all his major works that still can be and forever can be appreciated. Let us see deeply about Sri Aurobindo. Sri Aurobindo is one of the supreme masters in Indian English literature. He is not only a poet but also a philosopher, short story writer, and dramatist. His poetry may be divided into two broad groups as poetry of action and poetry of meditation. Savitri is the epic by Aurobindo which marks the culmination of his poetic career. He joined the Indian movement for independence from British rule for a while, became one of its influential leaders, and then became a spiritual reformer, including his visions on human progress and spiritual evolution. Sri Aurobindo, born as Aurobindo Ghosh, was an Indian nationalist, philosopher, yogi, guru, and poet. He gives charming descriptions of nature in his writings. Okay? As a yogi, he always wonders about nature, the mighty nature. Let us see about the palm, the tiger, and the deer. Arbindo's The Tiger and the Deer is a short didactic poem written in 1930, revised in 1942. It was a contrast between good and evil, innocence and experience, and life and death. Generally, people are afraid of the tiger because it is very fierce. It is a dangerous animal. It is a mighty animal. So people often afraid of tiger. They hate it because it is rough and dangerous. Yes, of course, we are afraid of it. So normally people we are afraid of what we are afraid of it, usually we hate it. Okay, it can be admired when it is a cub. When we see a tiger's cub, we can admire the cuteness of it. When it is a full grown tiger, we cannot. In the poem, the world of tiger stands for death, darkness, and arrogance. The innocent deer drinks water from the great pool in the forest. It is unaware of the tiger's plan of attack. The tiger crouches slowly to attack the deer. The fierce tiger has leaped up over the deer and torn it to pieces. This is what naturally happens in every forest. This is the law of nature also. The deer died pathetically thinking about its mate. The poem begins with a description of the tiger. The tiger crouches and slouches brilliantly through the green forest. It has gleaming eyes, mighty chest, and soft, soundless paws. The deer in the poem suggests innocence, softness, and love. The poet closes the poem with a note of optimism. He says that, in spite of the various blows of death and darkness, life is a thing to be enjoyed. Sufferings are not eternal. He teaches the lesson that those who harm others will be destroyed like the mammoth. So once it will be, the tiger will be destroyed like a mammoth. The mammoth shook the plains of Asia once upon a time, but it is extinct now. Since the tiger kills and harms other animals, the same fact of mammoth would come to it. But then the deer would drink without any fear in the cool ponds of the forest. Thus, the poem expresses the poet's longing for a peaceful and harmless world. As a yogi, he did this. The mighty will perish in their might, and the slain will survive the slayer. The mighty perish in their the mighty perish in their might. This statement metaphorically means that the violent and mighty people can inflict distress and pain upon others, but their cruel sway will not last long, and the harmless and wise people will survive then as the violence and mighty of their own will make them perish. The mighty and violence will not prolong for long, and a time will come to make the gentle and disciplined to survive happily. In this poem, he describes how a tiger pounces upon a deer and tears it to pieces. Describing on so, Sri Aurobindo says, in the end that they might will perish in their might, and a time will come when the poor deer can live happily. There are many instances where the meek and the weak had to give in to the powerful bodies and waited for their turn to arrive. Their turn arrives at last, and they had won their games. Okay? Uh, there are some kind of figures of speech used in these poems to describe the mightiness of the tiger and the soft and kindness of the deer also